opulent walls of the Dupree mansion have witnessed countless scandals, but none as utterly devastating as the one Naomi Hawthorne unleashed this week. In a moment of sheer, agonizing vulnerability, the emotional dam finally broke. Naomi collapsed into a puddle of tears, confessing to her mother, Dani Dupree, that she has been harboring a terrifying medical nightmare. For months, Naomi has been carrying the agonizing knowledge that she tested positive for the BRCA gene, a genetic ticking time bomb that threatens to cut her life tragically short. We all know how deeply Anita's breast cancer battle scarred this family, and now Naomi is staring down the exact same terrifying barrel. Now, as viewers, we naturally expect a mother to wrap her arms around her terrified daughter and urge her to lean on her husband for support. But this is beyond the gates, and Dani Dupree is currently drowning in a toxic sea of her own making. Instead of pushing Naomi toward the truth, Dani gives her the most shocking and destructive advice possible. She looks her sobbing daughter in the eye and tells her to keep her mouth shut. Dani urges Naomi to continue hiding this massive medical secret to protect her fragile happiness with Jacob. Can you even believe it? A mother telling her daughter to lie about a potentially terminal illness. But if we peel back the layers of Dani's twisted psychology, her advice makes perfect tragic sense. Dani is not speaking from a place of maternal wisdom. She is projecting her own suffocating guilt onto Naomi. Let us not forget that Dani is harboring a marriage-destroying secret of her own. She is still reeling from that passionate, panic-induced hookup with her ex-husband, Bill Hamilton, while they were trapped in the elevator during the tornado. Dani is terrified that the truth will destroy her life with Andre, so she is projecting that exact same fear onto Naomi's situation. In Dani's mind, the truth doesn't set you free. It destroys everything you love. Dani's hypocrisy is truly a sight to behold. Here is a woman who preaches family unity, yet she is actively orchestrating a cover-up that could cost her daughter her life. Dani knows firsthand the agonizing weight of a secret. Every time she looks at Andre, the devoted husband who loves her unconditionally, she is consumed by the memory of Bill's hands on her in that dark elevator. She is desperately trying to outrun her own sins, and in doing so, she is dragging Naomi down into the mud with her. It is a classic soap opera tragedy. The sins of the mother being forced upon the daughter, all under the twisted guise of maternal protection. Dani justifies this web of deceit by pointing to Jacob's fragile mental state, and to be fair, her fears are not entirely unfounded. Jacob Hawthorne is a man standing on the razor's edge of a total psychological collapse. We have watched him spiral deeper and deeper into his dangerous undercover persona, obsessively trying to take down the impaler and the illicit plasma ring. Jacob is completely consumed by untreated PTSD and blinding survivor's guilt. Every single day, he is haunted by the agonizing memory of his best friend, Derek Baldwin, taking a fatal bullet that was meant for him. Let us not underestimate the sheer danger Jacob is in right now. He is playing a lethal game of cat and mouse with the impaler, completely unaware that the ruthless crime boss is actually Joey Armstrong's sister, Heather. Jacob is operating without a safety net, fueled only by grief and a desperate need for vengeance. He is pushing his father, Police Chief Elon Hawthorne, away, isolating himself from his colleagues, and acting recklessly. If Jacob were to discover that his own wife has been lying to his face while he is out risking his life, the betrayal wouldn't just break his heart, it could cause him to make a fatal mistake in the field. Dani knows this, and she uses this fear as a weapon to force Naomi's silence. Dani argues that if Jacob finds out Naomi has been lying to him for months about something this massive, the betrayal will be the final nail in his psychological coffin. She convinces Naomi that silence is the ultimate act of love and sacrifice. By keeping this secret, Naomi believes she is shielding her husband from a reality that would shatter his already broken mind. But this complicity inadvertently creates a suffocating web of deception that threatens to strangle the entire family. Naomi is left entirely alone, fighting her terrifying fears of illness while watching her husband risk his life on dangerous missions, completely unaware that his wife needs him now more than ever. Just when we thought Naomi's burden could not possibly get any heavier, the soap opera gods throw the ultimate heart-stopping curveball. Just as Naomi finally gathers the agonizing courage to defy her mother's advice and confess the truth to Jacob, she makes a staggering discovery. Naomi is pregnant. She is expecting her first child. In any other circumstance, this would be a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. But in the twisted world of Fairmont Crest, this miraculous news instantly morphs into a living nightmare. The joy of expecting a baby is completely obliterated by a tidal wave of sheer terror as Naomi realizes the horrific genetic legacy she might be passing down. She is not just the mother-to-be. She is a carrier of a deadly cancer gene. Will her child inherit this exact same ticking time bomb? The psychological torment Naomi experiences in these scenes is absolutely palpable. We are watching a woman being torn apart from the inside out, paralyzed by a fear so deep it threatens to consume her entirely. How can she celebrate a new life when she is so terrified of her own impending death? Naomi is instantly thrust into a state of absolute paralyzing panic. She is faced with an impossible, gut-wrenching dilemma that no woman should ever have to navigate. Does she keep the baby and risk her own life, delaying the preventative treatments that could save her? Or does she undergo a radical preventative mastectomy and oophorectomy to save herself, potentially sacrificing her unborn child in the process? It is a horrific choice between life and death, and Naomi is forced to make it entirely in the dark, suffocated by the lies she has promised to keep. Realizing she cannot navigate this medical minefield alone, but utterly terrified of breaking her vow of silence to her family, Naomi seeks outside help. She secretly reaches out to Dr. Madison Montgomery for professional medical advice. Naomi begs Madison to keep this consultation absolutely confidential, demanding absolute secrecy from the brilliant doctor. Madison is thrust into a terrible ethical position, holding the literal life or death secrets of her girlfriend's cousin. The clandestine meetings between Naomi and Madison become a regular occurrence, shrouded in whispers and locked doors. And we simply must talk about the excruciating position, Doctor. Madison Montgomery finds herself in. Madison is a healer, a professional who took an oath to protect her patients, but she is also deeply entangled in the personal lives of this family through her romance with Chelsea Hamilton. By agreeing to keep Naomi's pregnancy and BRCA status a secret, Madison is risking her medical license, her relationship with Chelsea, and her own moral compass. Every time Madison looks at Jacob, she knows she is hiding a truth that belongs to him. The tension in those hospital corridors is thick enough to cut with a scalpel, and Madison is sweating bullets, hoping this doesn't blow up in her face. But here is the tragic irony of Naomi's desperate attempt to protect her marriage. The secrecy is exactly what is going to destroy it. Jacob Hawthorne is a highly trained police officer and a seasoned detective. His very survival on the streets depends on his ability to read people, spot lies, and notice when things are out of place. He immediately picks up on Naomi's bizarre behavior. He sees the hushed phone calls, the sudden departures, the nervous energy, and the constant unexplained meetings with Dr. Madison Montgomery. Driven to the absolute brink by his untreated PTSD and the overwhelming stress of his undercover mission, Jacob's mind jumps to the most devastating conclusion possible. Because Naomi is sneaking around with Madison, Jacob's paranoid, traumatized brain connects the wrong dots. He doesn't suspect that his wife is battling a life-threatening genetic crisis or that she is carrying his child. Instead, Jacob becomes absolutely convinced that Naomi is having a passionate, illicit love affair with Dr. Madison Montgomery. The misunderstanding is as classic as it is heartbreaking. The tension builds to an unbearable, suffocating boiling point when Jacob finally decides he has had enough of the lies. The Hawthorne marriage is standing on the edge of a jagged cliff as Jacob corners Naomi in their home. The air is thick with unspoken accusations, shattered trusts, and the ghost of the love they used to share. We can literally see the heartbreak in Jacob's eyes as he looks at the woman he loves, convinced she has betrayed him in the worst way possible. He is a broken man demanding answers from a broken woman. In a scene that is guaranteed to go down and beyond the Gates' history, Jacob delivers a chilling, heart-stopping ultimatum that will change the course of their lives forever. With tears in his eyes and a voice hardened by trauma, he looks at Naomi and demands the absolute truth. He tells her she has exactly one chance to come clean about what is going on with Madison. It is the truth right here, right now, or he is walking out that door and filing for divorce. The stakes have never been higher, and the emotional explosion is imminent. Will Naomi finally break down and reveal the terrifying truth about her BRCA diagnosis, her impossible medical choices, and the baby she is carrying? Or will she allow Jacob to believe she is having a scandalous affair with Madison, choosing to destroy her marriage rather than burden him with the reality of her potential death? We are on the edge of our seats, and we know you are too. The fallout from this single confrontation is going to send massive shockwaves through the Hawthorne and Dupree families for months to come. Make sure you don't miss a single second of the drama because Fairmont Crest is about to go up in flames.